Where would the South African struggle against apartheid have been if they had to use Bitcoin to buy all of their resources? Where would the American African struggle for civil rights and black power be if we only had a digital currency? What I'm saying, okay, here we go. I have another thing to say. I saw a video on TikTok explaining how Christianity is not a white religion. Christianity was both a Middle Eastern and African religion before anything else. Some countries that have Christianity are Ethiopia, Israel, Sudan, and Egypt. But the thing I want to make sure of is that in the video, it says Europeans ripped out some pages from the Bible that talks about how God wanted to help the oppressed and how the Israelites are God's chosen people. I agree. All religions began with the African. All ancient religions began with the African. But they were taken and they were modified. And the culture around the religion was adjusted to suit the agenda of the Arab conqueror and the white conqueror. So although it was originally yours, the form and fashion that you practice today has been influenced by the Arab slave master and the European slave master. I'm wearing the cross of the Ethiopian people. This was given to me as a gift by one of my brothers who was in Ethiopia. So this is my Ethiopian cross. Shout out to all my Ethiopian family, my Eritrean family, my Somalian family, my Sudanese family. I love my East Africans, my Kenyans, my Ugandans, my Malawians, Nile Valley. I love y'all. Let's see. What's up, Umar? My name is Gino. I was born in the UK. My family from Jamaica. I discovered you in 2012. There's a big disconnect in the African diaspora, but I do feel that more people are starting to recognize their connection to Africa. Although many are waking up to their blackness, what needs to be done to get the black people in power to start supporting other Africans around the world. Recently, I heard of a new currency called Lumi, which is backed by solar energy and gold for the African diaspora. But I don't know how legit the platform is. Last question, what do you think of the religious influence in the black community? If the religion serves liberation, I'm for the religion. If the religion serves liberation, I'm for the religion. If the religion don't serve liberation, I'm not for the religion. It's that simple. If your church is about black liberation, I support your church. If your masjid is about black liberation, I support your masjid. And if your church or your masjid is not about black liberation, then I don't support it. As far as blockchain and Bitcoin, I'm looking into all that now. I don't fully trust it, but I'm looking into it. Here's my concern with digital currency and African revolution. Here is my concern with digital currency and African revolution. Here is my concern with digital currency and African revolution. If all African people go to a digital currency, the revolution will not be financed. I'm going to say it again. If all African people go to a digital currency, the revolution will not be financed. And the reason if all African people go to a digital currency, the revolution will not be financed is because you give the white power structure the ability to push one button and shut down the whole movement. I'm going to say it again. Where would the Kenya, Mau Mau, Dedan Kimathi, where would the Land and Freedom Army be fighting against the British if they had to get all of their resources by using the Bitcoin? Where would the South African struggle against apartheid have been if they had to use Bitcoin to buy all of their resources? Where would the American African struggle for civil rights and black power be if we only had a digital currency? What I'm saying is I'm not against digital currency for everyday use. But if we go to a 100% digital currency global market for African people, there will be no revolution. The worst thing African people can do, The worst thing that African people can do is give up paper currency totally for digital currency, because the more digital you become, the more digital you become, the more digital you become, the easier it is to shut down your resources. It's just like using a cell phone. If you don't have a landline in your house, it's easy for them to shut this down. It's just like propaganda. If your newspaper is fully on the internet, they can shut down and freeze the news. You have no control over the digital currency. You lose control. And so that's why, even if we go with a blockchain technology for everyday use, that's okay. But you better keep some paper currency, so you can at least do some things under the table as necessary to finance the revolution. Good evening, Dr. Umar. I am Biafra, Nigeria, Igbo, but I'm in Italy. I have some questions to ask you about African liberation or freedom of black people. How do you, African Americans, organizing economical strength, education, solidarity, military, innovation, science, and politics to stand as an institution, race, or economic power to change the narrative of how the international media is presenting our history and criminalizing us, that has made it possible for the whole world to discriminate against African people globally? Why is it that the African Americans are not coming together to form an institution by moving to Africa and do business like the Chinese, the Asian, and the other white races? And we must continue speaking without action and basic foundation. Well said. First of all, my brother, and I would love to come to Italy to build with my my Italian Africans. There are African people in America doing just that. There's American Africans in Africa doing that right now. There's a lot of American Africans on the ground in Africa who are working for the liberation. There's a lot of them doing it, my brother. But we do need more. The problem we have in America is we have an identity crisis. The problem we have in America is we have an identity crisis. The problem we have in America is we have an identity crisis. We have a plethora of anti-African organizations. 95% of all black conscious organizations are anti-African. They not from Africa. They push Islam. They push Hebrew. They push indigenous. They push anything but being from Africa. So we have to re-educate the youth, which is what we're going to do with the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. And then as we re-Africanize the youth, we'll be able to get a lot more things done, my brother. But I thank you for that.